Hey guys, welcome to Casual Corner Chat. I'm Luke.
I'm Sam.
I'm Vu.
And today, Jenny isn't currently here. She's away, but we do have a special guest.
Hi, I'm Marisse. I'm Vu's partner.
All right, Marisse, let's ask you a few questions just so that the audience knows who you are.
Sure.
Okay, how long have you guys been together?
Wow, getting into
Three
the
and a
nitty-gritty.
half years.
Yes, 3.5 years.
Yes.
3.5 years.
Yes.
Damn, very, very nice. Just to update everyone, because they probably have listened to the international travels and the marriage episode, how was Vu's proposal?
Cute.
It was very nice. I really liked it. It was low-key, private. It was at a place that I've always wanted to go to on my bucket list. He proposed in Spain.
That's beautiful.
I always wanted to visit the Alhambra, and then on that same day, he proposed. It was very nice. I really liked it. So
Thank
I said
you.
yes.
I'm shy.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Very, very nice. And what do you do for work?
I work in health.
In how?
Probably won't go more specific than that, but yeah, I
No,
work in
fair
a
enough.
public hospital.
That's good. That's good. Very nice. All right. So to bring some context to this ep before I introduce the topic, you guys, I recently watched the movie The Heretic by Hugh Grant. Have you guys seen it?
No, we want to.
I've heard of it.
Honestly,
Want to.
it's not actually horror, but it makes you think.
Okay.
It's by A24 production.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
They made like
Yeah.
movies of
Amazing, yeah.
Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, Hereditary, and Midsummer. Honestly, it's not bad.
Some of
not
my
bad.
favorites.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the trailer of it, if you've seen the trailer, gives a little bit too much of the entire
Yeah,
show
okay.
is.
I mean,
okay. So
scary
don't watch
white
the
man is
trailer
the
then.
villain. Like,
Yeah.
is that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, true, right? True.
Yeah.
But yeah, so after
Is
watching
it
that,
a recent movie?
yeah, it came out, I would say a month ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
It might still be in theaters. in
Yeah.
some
Oh,
places.
amazing.
should be.
Okay.
Yeah, or close to exiting out. But yeah,
Yeah.
it got like 91% on Rotten
Oh,
Tomatoes,
wow. Okay.
71% on
Impressive.
Metacritic, and 7 out of 10 on IMDb. DB, thank you.
Yes.
I can never get the order of that right.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, for those who are listening, the pretty much gist, without giving you guys the spoilers, is that Hugh Grant plays the villain. He tricks some people, these, how do I say it?
Missionary?
Missionaries, yes.
Yeah.
Missionaries into his home. And pretty much the whole point of the entire movie is he tests their faith and puts them in situations where they either fall on their beliefs or
Wow.
betray their God and whatnot.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the main gist. But then there's
Okay.
more into it, and there's a lot of thought experiments that he gives them, and they have to figure it out, or they have to give their understanding of it and whatnot.
Okay.
Give
Yeah.
that perspective. Okay.
All right. So in that, today's episode is going to be about faith and morality. Okay. So I brought I wanted Marisse here because she works in health and she has an understanding of what morality is like, I guess. And Vu being a moral compass of the group.
I would hope we
wanna
all do, but okay.
Yeah, right.
Like an authority on
we do.
True, true.
We all
Sociopath
do.
zero.
But in health, like I feel like you guys have a different maybe a little bit different moral compass compared to most.
Probably like more of like an extreme situations, like in
Yeah.
that
Because
situation.
they're having to directly care for people on a day-to-day basis.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I
Can be
remember,
like life or death.
yeah, like I remember telling you
so.
guys about the bear and the stranger question.
Man analogy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
most people in the medical field say that they believe in man to take care of the
Yeah.
daughter of the or whatever.
My partner actually mentioned that as well about with this episode about the bear situation as well, and then he mentioned how it's like the patient falling in love with like the carer as well.
yeah,
Like
Florence
there's a
Nightingale,
lot of situations
yeah.
like that, or like the psychiatrist.
Yeah.
I mean, like the patient and the psychiatrist example as well.
Yep.
So I thought that was really interesting as well.
Yeah. All right. So let's start off with the basics. So out of curiosity, did you guys grow up with religion? We only touched this a bit, don't worry. But did you guys grow up with religion?
What about you, Sam? You can start.
Yeah. I'm curious about you
Yeah.
because you never mentioned anything like that.
Mine's pretty easy. My family doesn't practice any religion. My grandma does, but she's based overseas, so she's Buddhist. And my family would always say we're like Buddhist growing up, like especially when we were younger, but we've never really practiced any kind of, I guess, like rituals or anything like that. Like we would go to like a temple like once every year. The one
Right,
in
okay, yeah.
Wollongong, which is like the
yeah, the big
Nantian
one.
temple.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because that's a really big.
Is that for like New
Buddhist
Year,
temple.
or is that like a anniversary?
I
and a
think it
thing?
was around like Lunar New Year.
Yeah.
Lunar New Year
typical.
time.
Yeah.
So we would obviously pay our respects and then pray and I guess like provide some sort of wish in terms of like what we want to gain or
Yeah.
hope for the next year. And then that kind of stopped like from primary school onwards. And then like it was very early ages like doing that. And then I remember going to scripture in like primary school.
What? Why?
Yeah. I also question why as well.
Because like, don't your parents need to sign you up for scripture in order
Yeah.
for that to
Yeah.
happen?
Yeah. I don't know why they signed me up.
Social thing, maybe?
Maybe. I wasn't like a shy kid though, but
Maybe they just wanted you to learn a different
maybe,
religion as well.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
So
interesting.
did that for like during primary school. I think that was like year 5 and 6. And then like even had a Bible and everything. I read it, but not extensively.
Okay.
Like,
I didn't know this about you, like,
yeah.
at all.
Yeah. I don't really talk about it because I don't really consider
Identify,
myself
yeah.
religious.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But these are like just memories of like, I guess, being involved in some sort of religion or
Okay.
learning about it. And then that lasted, not very long. And then in high school, we did religion in
Yeah.
year
okay.
year
So,
11.
Yeah, it's compulsory. Yeah.
Yes, in our year, it was for year 11. I think
No, it
it
wasn't
was.
compulsory.
Wasn't it compulsory?
for my
maybe it
school,
was
Yeah,
like.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I think it
Elective.
was an elective, but it was like
Studies of
1 point,
religion.
and I needed
Yeah,
an
yeah.
extra point.
You went to a
Correct?
private school, then like
Yeah.
Yes.
the door, right?
Yeah. So
fair
I
enough.
think we learned about like various types of religions, like Hinduism.
Yeah, you have to.
Buddhism.
Yeah, they want to.
I think the people did it because it scaled well or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it went downhill. And then like no one cares about it. Like,
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So that gets me today, where I don't really, I'm not really aware and like informed too much about different types of religion.
All right. Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Marisse?
It's a pretty big part of my growing up. I think my family, both sides, were actively practicing. Dad's side's Christian, mom's is Catholic. I was raised Catholic. I was in Catholic girls' schools for most of primary and high school. Oh, sorry. I feel like I'm not holding the mic close enough.
No, you're
no,
good.
you're
Yeah, okay,
You're
sorry.
good,
sorry.
you're good.
Yeah. So it was a big part of my life. I think now it still is, but definitely less of a regular and predominant thing than it used to be. That's through my own kind of working through what I believe as life goes on. I think that's pretty natural. Yeah, but I always was interested in religions from an academic basis too. Like I also did studies of religion for HSC,
Yeah.
and then I did it as an elective again in uni.
Oh,
Oh, amazing.
interesting.
Okay.
A short while of my life, I was in an international school, so you had to participate in a lot of different religious traditions too, because everyone was from different places.
Oh, cool.
That's really cool.
like
Yeah,
celebrate
okay.
Diwali and then
Wow.
Chinese New Year.
Pretty awesome.
Really cool. No, that's actually really cool.
Did you wear like a sari and all that sort of stuff?
I
for
mean,
Diwali?
no, not when I was in the international school.
Okay,
just
yeah.
a nice
I was
dress.
Okay, cool. I was just curious.
Yeah. And then we were taken on field trips to like, I think, different like buildings of different religious
Yeah,
faiths.
okay.
Yeah.
And so it was
Places of
always,
worship and stuff.
Yeah, places
Yeah.
of worship. So it was always interesting. I think it gave me a perspective in that everyone has a different way of exercising their morality, and there are surprising amounts of similarities to all of them. So it's just interested to see how that translated through different cultures.
Very nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Can you describe some of the similarities? Like, because I'm quite curious, but I
Yeah.
just never have been, I guess, like exposed
Yeah. I
really
think
to like variety. Yeah.
No, that's fair. I think a lot of religions have very similar kind of ceremonies relating to different things. Like there's always a sort of a celebration of life. There's a kind of a belief that welcoming someone new into the world is significant. There are different kinds of marriage rituals in every place, but there's always the same emphasis into, two people coming together to make a family that will continue those beliefs.
Like monogamy being baked into.
In most major
religion?
religions, Most major religions are monogamous, but obviously that's not speaking for all of them.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, and things like a christening in one religion, there's equivalence in other ones as well about welcoming the new person into the faith. I think it's just everyone wants to tries to view the world in a way where something greater than them is kind of providing meaning, and I think it's just interesting how that happens everywhere somehow.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, I love
very
that.
nice.
That's a good way to put it, actually. Yeah.
Right. Well, what about you? You mentioned your
Religious trauma.
Yes, exactly.
Oh no.
So, quick wrap or update or
Yeah,
review?
the long story short, I grew up Baptist, so that's one of the more hardcore religions. That one, I guess, believed in I don't know, you can speak to this, believed in a God and Jesus.
Yeah.
Right? But like technically what's like the relationship in between them? They're the same.
It's a denomination of Christianity. I think Christianity is an umbrella of people who believe in Jesus as God, and baptism is.
But that like in baptism they're not two separate people, is that right? They're like the one.
I think in a lot
spirit.
of Christianity, they believe in the idea of a trinity.
Yeah.
But I think in baptism, it very much believes that that's a personal connection between God and you. I mean, obviously, you probably know more.
No, it shows how little I paid attention.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think some of my family members are Baptist, so that's where I'm getting. Might not be entirely correct.
Yeah,
so that's where I'm getting my knowledge from.
My experience is that religion is the thing that taught me what shame was. Like,
interesting point of view.
Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting.
you do this and then you should be ashamed and then you won't get into religion. Like, I think the get into heaven. It's like the basis is you're gonna go to hell.
Like there's consequences for your actions.
Like just being alive. It's just
Okay.
you know.
Okay.
And you gotta like climb your way into heaven.
Yeah.
And you have to follow these like really strict things. Unless you do that,
Interesting.
you don't really get to heaven. And a lot of that had to do with who I was as a person and what I believed in personally. And I disagreed with a lot of that. I was also like a kid that kid in school that would be like, I also went to scripture class. My parents signed me up.
Yeah.
And I remember one time like asking the pastor that was like talking, it's like, okay, where within, I was like trying to learn. So it's like, okay, Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve, and I was just like, where within this do like dinosaurs fit?
Actually hilarious.
I was genuinely like 7 years old, right? And I was like, I just read about dinosaurs. I'm like,
Yes.
okay, these are really cool. I want to like put these two worlds together,
Like,
right?
tie
'Cause
them
it's
together,
both
yeah.
on Earth, right?
Okay, interesting.
And then I asked the question. I put my hand up very politely. I asked the question like, where do dinosaurs fit in? It's like, is this before like the whole Adam and Eve thing? And then the pastor
was the
just like
response?
did not answer the question and just like kept talking.
Okay.
And that was like my first indication that like, oh, something's shifting
Yeah.
here. Like you wouldn't just
Like
say,
you were ignored.
yeah.
Okay.
And I was the only one
Disregarded.
asking the questions. You know?
Yes.
So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, you know. But I was that like precocious kid of like trying to understand where things fit into what and all
Yeah.
that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as kids, you're also just highly questionable in
Yeah.
terms of like you're always asking different questions. So it makes sense that
Yeah,
you
exactly.
would ask that.
And I guess for most of my adolescence was questioning my relationship to that. And then as soon as I could, I sort of, well, I had to deal with the particular emotion of not believing in the religion that I was put in, but vaguely still believing that there was a God. Like that was a weird thing for
Yeah.
me.
Like trying to find the balance.
Yeah,
guess.
I don't believe that there's a God.
Yeah.
And so that's where I sort of ended up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That was a concluding.
But yeah, so
Okay.
that was a weird thing
Yeah.
to like bridge. But
Right.
that's
Yeah.
my
Okay.
long shot.
Can I ask if your sister had a similar experience or
No, my sister's still religious.
still religious?
Well, not super religious, but like
Okay.
you know,
Seasonal.
seasonal Christian
Yeah.
church every now and
Yeah.
again type thing. You
And
know?
still believes
Uh,
in like a higher being?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm the black sheep, so to speak, in a lot of different ways to my
Fair
family.
enough.
No, I wouldn't call you that, but
But yeah,
yeah.
it's different.
Yeah.
What about you,
It
Luke?
is.
Um,
Yes.
I think yours is a lot less like messed up than mine.
Yeah. I went to a Catholic primary school, a Catholic high school. Like, it was never forced on us to like, oh, this is one thing and one thing only. One thing only.
Really? What?
Yeah.
Really? You
It's
didn't feel
just-
that?
Yeah, even in high school when we had religion teachers, they'll be like, look, you can believe what you believe. Yeah, we understand that science is out there and there's like no refuting it, but it's up to your like own belief and like understanding of God. And if you want to believe with absolutely like no evidence, then that's great. Like we support that. Okay, you can do what you want to do.
Like if you believe in God with absolutely no evidence, is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So that's what we were, and like that's for me for a while. I was like, yes, I'll pray and all that. I still pray to this day. Like at church, I'll go pray. It's not like I just sit there when after communion and all that, and how you're supposed to reflect. And pray and all that. So I still do that.
Okay.
It's just that over the years, like you see so much of media and what the world is like. It's hard to like accept as like, oh, this is all God's plan and all that. Today at work, I was even talking to a workmate about how fate and all this, and it's like saying that everything is done for a reason.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it just went out ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, but like, yeah, so through events from when I finished high school till now, I'll probably talk into not the app, but like I had to face a lot of death, and it's just like kind of desensitized me to believing that there's a God. I would like to, a part of me does want to believe there's a higher being out there or understanding, but I know that part of me is like, nah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you don't believe that there's a God? Is that right?
A part of me wants to,
Yeah.
but I know it's absolute.
But you still pray and you still go to church.
Yeah, yeah. It's just
How
like,
do you?
sorry?
How does that?
The actions
balance?
and
Like, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't match.
doesn't
Like,
Yeah.
tie
it doesn't match,
together,
but
yeah.
it's like, how do you say? Even if there's a small chance that he is real, I'm not
You
gonna
wanna be
like
wrong.
doubt. Yeah, exactly.
You get
It's
to the
like
pearly gates. You're like,
putting my foot in the door for heaven.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
well,
It's
that
like,
analogy,
yeah,
yes,
And if there is a God out there and he's watching over my friends and family, then yes, good on him. Okay.
Yo, I know where I'm going, bro.
So
Yeah,
it's like you're kind of giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Like,
Benefit of a doubt, but
yeah.
Okay.
it's like 20% believe in God.
Okay.
80%.
I didn't know
I'm
this
like,
about you. I thought
Yeah.
you still like practiced. You know what I mean? Like
no,
not often, but like
yeah, I'm like a seasonal Catholic. I go for Easter and Christmas, and that's
yeah.
about
But
it.
then I think those people still believe in a God. No,
Here and there, like
genuinely, like it to be religious. Does that mean you believe in a God? Like, isn't that
I don't know if everyone thinks about it
In that way.
in that way.
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Or actively. Sometimes I wonder if it's just something people do and have gotten used to doing.
Yeah.
But if when push comes to shove, if they're asked, not everyone's necessarily
yeah,
Yeah.
gonna say yes.
Oh,
like you go for your mum, for
Yeah.
example,
Yeah.
for church, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you do all
Family.
the ritualistic things that comes with religion,
yeah.
and all that, and you're still out of habit, and you're used to it, and it's
Yeah.
tradition. That's the thing.
Okay.
Yeah, and
So
if
you're in
you-
that boat.
yeah,
Like
in
you're
that
doing
boat.
it in
Yeah.
the sense of
Exactly.
like just following tradition and following
Yeah.
and going for your mom.
Yeah, I'm
and
not gonna
family.
like wake up every Sunday morning just to go to
Yeah.
church and all that.
okay.
And
Is
pray.
is that because like when you were growing up with religion, it was more intertwined with like the threads of your life?
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
And then hence
yeah,
like, it is okay, fair enough. Because I think for me it was like a bifurcation. You know, it was like Sunday is like church because I had to go to church, and then outside of that, I don't ever think about religion. You know, and so unless I was like getting yelled at it by using religion,
Okay.
so like it felt like two different distinct things that I had to sort of like figure out.
Navigate. Yeah.
Yeah. So fair enough. Okay. So maybe that's why I don't understand the nuance of like, you know, it permeating everyday life.
okay. All right, so let's go to the next part. So I want to ask, what is your, in a moment of complete doubt and weakness, if you're ever at that point, not saying that I wish you guys to be in that point, but let's say something tragic happened in your life and you're at your lowest, like what does your faith or what your core beliefs go to? Like, I think about this as like, oh, if, like, remember my period where everything went to like,
Yeah.
and all that.
bad times. We all have
so
bad
I'm
times, yeah.
like, all right, what do I need to go to like push me to go forward when everything feels like it's at the end of the world? Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for me, it would be like my friends. I know I can always go to my friends and they'll be able to push me forward and so forth. I can always rely on them, like, yeah, and
Okay.
so forth.
Yeah,
So for
yeah.
you guys, what would that be? Would it be family? Would it be a job? Would it be gym? What is it?
I can go first.
Yeah. Do you have one?
Yeah.
Sometimes there's moments where even though I don't believe in a God, I pray.
Yeah, so just, yeah, okay, yeah.
It's so like, it doesn't make sense to me though sometimes, but I do it because I'm like, sometimes there's moments where I feel like maybe there's something that like a higher power can like fix something or like can like, you know, over like see me and like protect me.
Yeah.
It's really weird though because I don't really believe in
Yeah,
that.
but there's a part of you.
No, I think that's like like evolutionary thing. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
people believe in.
Like fate.
Yeah, well, not. Well, yeah, I guess, but like things that are outside of themselves to get them through situations that they themselves cannot control.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
remove whatever deity you believe in. Like just the
Yeah.
fact that you believe in something that isn't you is what religion
Yeah.
is, right?
Yeah.
And these separate tribes and cultures have come to that conclusion
Yeah.
separately.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
feel like that's just a human trait.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
To believe in something that I can't control and hope that I can like be protected. Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
But then I would go to family and friends.
Yeah.
Like that because that's more tangible, obviously, and I can voice
Like
it.
that wouldn't be my first thought. Like for my own personal like core beliefs and all that, I wouldn't think of like going to a higher power and believing that they will like.
I think it's
everyone will, like-
situational,
yeah. Okay.
like depending on the scenario for me.
Okay.
Like if it's like if for example like if someone that I know is like really sick and is not really well in the sense that it could be detrimental for their health, then I do like think about it
Okay.
in that respect, in that way.
Fair enough.
But
Okay.
then I'd go to my actions.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like a temporary like relief and then
Yeah.
like release, I
I
guess.
know what that means. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
then I'm like, okay, let's
I think
deal with it.
In that case,
Yeah.
like if a family member of mine is sick, I
Yeah.
kind of look. I don't believe in a god, but like
Yeah.
I kind of cash in a bit of a favor. I would be like, hey, yo, like we aren't on good terms, but like if you're out there, you owe me one, and like you owe me a lot. So like,
So different. Okay.
it's
So bargaining, pretty much you're bargaining
Yeah.
with the higher
Yeah.
power.
I'm trying
It's
to be
like-
nice.
no, I'm not, bro.
I'm like, please, like, I'll do anything, like,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And you're like, you owe me.
yeah, I'm like, you owe me. Like I would cash it in for myself, but like there's someone I care about, do it right now. Like,
All right.
otherwise, when I die, I'm gonna come bash you. Like,
Wow.
it's like if you're out there, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But genuinely, most of the time,
Yeah.
it's if I find myself at like the lowest or whatever, it's positive nihilism or something. Can't remember.
Yeah.
What is it?
Positive nihilism.
Yeah.
I think that's
Can you explain about what it
Yes.
is?
Optimistic nihilism.
Yeah.
What is
Which
that?
is basically like things are terrible anyways. And if it's, let's say, if you're super depressed and you have been for a long time, you feel like you can't get out of that situation, people tend to move into, you know, thinking about, you know, unaliving themselves and stuff like that.
Yes.
And for me, the nihilism is like, okay, I can do that. I'm super sad and I can do this and I can end the suffering. But then at that point, like I can't do anything else after that. Like
Okay.
all the fun stuff, all the
Yeah.
cool, interesting
Yeah.
things, like this is just it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
So it like kind of changes your perspective a little bit, or like it puts it into perspective.
it not really. It's more just like if I put like the period on my life right now, then it will only ever be what has been written so far.
Yeah.
And like I'm a little bit dissatisfied by that. Like I live my life in the way that I wanted to live it.
Yeah.
But it's more just I go out without having to experience everything that I wanted to. You know?
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Like if I die while experiencing the things that I want to, so then sweet,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Okay.
But if it's by my own hands, it's like that's I
Okay.
don't like that.
Okay.
And so it's a reminder that like okay, you can stop it now, but it just means that all the good stuff just won't happen anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
And so from then, what I sort of visualize is that at that point, I'm in like a hole very deep inside the earth, and that hole is inside of a forest, right? And I just need to get out of that hole, move through the forest, and then eventually see like the sunrise. And then if I see the sun rising, then it's kind of going to be okay.
Okay.
Right? It's just you need to find your way out,
Yeah.
basically.
And you know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, for me, I can track where I am in that sort of analogy.
Yeah.
Like I can think.
Like where you are in that.
Yeah. It's like right now I'm
circumstances,
at the bottom of the hole.
Yeah.
Like it's. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to do anything to try and get out of there.
Yeah.
Sometimes something good happens and I'm like, okay, I've found my way out of the hole, but I'm still in like the rainforest. I can't see anything through the trees just yet. And then eventually you just got to keep doing until like you kind of feel as if the sun's rising and then everything's going to be okay. But that's my thing, which is like a very self thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's not like external to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot based on my experiences of like the hard stuff that I have been through. And then the fact that nothing external happened for me to get out of it. It's just been
Yeah.
a push inwardly to get out of it.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Luck notwithstanding, but like still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's fair.
Has there been times, pardon me, sorry, where, so this is all like self,
Yeah.
I guess.
Self-centered. I guess,
No,
yeah. But centering on the self, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Has there ever been a time where you couldn't just rely on yourself?
No, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I
I
just
see that as a good thing.
I
I don't know why. I don't know why.
I'm not ever at a point where I don't think I can rely on myself.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if I feel like I don't trust myself, then I will put in system solutions to stop that.
Okay. But still, again, all self.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
self. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes I might be like, hey, like a friend. Hey, if
Yes.
I, don't let me touch alcohol because if I do, I'm gonna get super drunk.
Yeah.
Because I don't trust myself.
Yeah.
In order to that. So
Yeah.
that's when I would like
Reach
ask
out.
someone, reach out.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's
Okay.
not like, you know what I mean? Praying to a god to like not tempt me
Yeah.
with alcohol. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
No, fair enough. What about you, Marisse?
I think for a very long time it used to be that concept of everything having a plan. But I think the more that you kind of grow up and you see things, particularly at work, where you meet lovely people and they just get dealt such an unfair hand and they've done nothing wrong. And terrible things happen. It's hard to think that that's part of some plan.
Yeah.
That suffering's supposed to bring out
get that, yeah.
something good. Yeah. And I think instead it's kind of similar to what you were talking about in terms of optimistic nihilism. Life is we're specks of dust in a big universe. We only will really touch the lives of so few people. I think there will always be meaning in making that little corner of your existence happier and more meaningful.
Okay.
So even if I've only got my friends and my family and the few people that I meet, even though things are quite hopeless in the wider world and things happen that we can't control, there's always some form of meaning and goodness in trying to, be that positivity and nurturing part of someone's life.
Yeah.
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 If
And
it's going to be then might as well enjoy it, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we've only got each other in this big world full of scary things. Just help each other out and make meaning out of what might not initially have meaning built into it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
No, that's a really
By
good
hearing
point.
this, it actually does sound like it shapes your like moral compass by a lot, especially
I
you.
think it would
Viv.
shake it a lot
Yeah.
in the sense that, like, we don't really face those kind of extreme, in-your-face situations. Whereas,
Yeah.
given your occupation, you see that on a daily basis,
Yeah.
and that naturally would make you question a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Like for us, when someone gets sick or someone passes away and, we have to attend a funeral, that's only the moments where we really feel it's like really dire, and those are the moments where I get really obviously shaken up and impacted. And then I start thinking about, like future, like family, like those kind of situations. And then I just go down a rabbit hole.
But do you believe in an afterlife, Sam?
I do actually believe in an afterlife.
Okay.
Weirdly enough.
Like a heaven and hell situation, or a
No, I believe in reincarnation.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so is this the Buddhism doing its thing?
Buddhism route, yeah.
Okay.
So when my grandpa passed away, there used to always be, it was so random, but there used to always be a cricket.
I think you told me about this.
Did I?
I feel like it
Maybe.
sounds so familiar.
Yeah. There was always a cricket on certain dates of the year,
Okay, yeah.
which was really interesting. And so mum would always say, like, don't hurt the cricket. Because like my grandfather passed away like more than a decade ago. So this was quite early on I think I was maybe I was like 12.
Okay.
So it was a while ago now. But yeah, we would like that would always be in the back of my mind. And so I hate bugs, right? First of all, I detest bugs.
Yeah.
And so this cricket being in this house was kind of like looking like my mum phrased it in the sense of this cricket's like looking over us, like looking at us in our like good moments. And, there's always someone like looking out, like looking over you.
Okay.
So I always appreciated that concept.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I do believe that there is, I would hope that there's more than heaven and hell. I don't know why, but yeah, I think I'd love to be reincarnated into something that can see the world and be around the people that, I'll leave behind one day.
Yeah. And that's based in karma, is that right? Like the more good you do, the better the thing you
I actually
become
don't
reincarnated in?
know. I actually don't know about that, but I don't really think about the good and bad.
Yeah, okay.
In the sense of, I obviously try not to do bad things.
Yeah.
That's just a given in my morality.
So like intellectually though, like as a studier of religions multiple times, like is that the thing? Like the good karma, you get reincarnated as a better thing.
There are some faiths that believe in that. I'm not going to go into specifics because I feel like I'm going to get it wrong.
Okay, yeah,
but
that's
I
fine,
know
yeah.
that
Just generally
concept
speaking,
exists.
Okay.
That you can earn your way into a better next life or a worse next life.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I have heard that. Yeah.
You seen the sitcom The Good Place?
Yes.
That's
Such a good show. I would highly recommend.
Yeah,
highly
you
recommend.
guys should watch it.
man.
Yes,
Watching that show.
that was really good.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like it was a good understanding of like afterlife, doing
Yes.
good points, bad points, and then
It's like being tested
Yeah.
in your daily life.
and then towards the end of season,
Yeah, that it's like oblivion, right?
yeah,
Like that's what it ended on.
Yes.
See, that's what I believe in.
What?
I don't think it ended on oblivion. I think
Did it
it
not?
ended in we don't know what's next.
yeah, we don't.
Oh, really?
They
Yeah.
acceptance like, all right, if you just don't want to exist anymore. Oh, sorry, spoilers, you guys. If you don't want
Years old, bro.
to exist anymore, then you just
You go through this
you
gate.
door, and then you just disperse throughout the universe and become atoms.
Yes,
Oh,
yes, that
okay.
is
That
how
was
it
the
ends.
final
That
like end goal that they made.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
if you're done with life, I have a quote. I have that. Oh my god, that's another episode. I want to go.
Okay,
yeah. So that's another topic I went through with my mates. But anyways, but yeah,
what were you gonna
watch
s-
Good Place.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
sorry, you
You
What
were
guys.
going
about
to say
Oblivion?
something.
Oh,
Yeah.
that like I believe in oblivion. Like I don't think there is like a heaven and hell.
Okay.
Or like reincarnation or something. Like I think we return to the earth in the way that like atoms need to be recycled.
Yeah,
But
Interesting.
consciousness like just disappears.
yeah,
And I think oblivion is like peaceful. Like I think it's I think it's just darkness. I think it's just black. But it's just like you feel just like peace, and then you just
Yeah.
move, and that's just what you feel for the rest of your life, for the rest of
Where
eternity.
does this stem from? Because in the sense of I've never heard of that before.
Have you heard of it? Oh, sorry.
There's
Answer your one, and I have something after.
there's like anecdotes apparently of people who cross to the other side when like they're like dying on the surgery table or whatever, right?
Okay.
And then like when they are legally dead, they're legally dead. They get like brought back to life.
Yes.
They get annoyed that they wake up because the feeling that when they died was like extremely peaceful, like.
That wasn't the anesthetic.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like they felt like the most like
At peace.
They're just at peace, just like the most like supreme feeling of peace, like definitionally they can
Okay.
ever think of.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then to be alive is to have that taken away from you.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they wake up
They
annoyed.
talked about it in the TV show Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh yeah, when
yeah. When she passes away and they
Yeah.
bring her back to life,
and she
it's
was
like-
really angry.
Yeah, because she was like,
I
if
don't
you're
know that
in-
scene, but
if
okay.
you're in like absolute bliss and you experience everything all at once, right?
Yeah.
And you're taken away and put into real life where you don't have that anymore, like it's pretty much like taking away like a drug from a junkie.
Yeah, basically. It's kind of
ironic.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, so they're like
Interesting.
annoyed that they're back. And I
Yes.
think that's what Oblivion is with. It's just that
Okay.
feeling forever. I weirdly I think I felt like a little bit of that. Like a tiny tiny. Okay, there's a whole. Okay, do we have 10 minutes right now? No, because I need to. Because this relates to you. That's why.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
I think you need to listen to this.
I'll make it really quick.
Yeah.
But basically, there was a trip that we had as a group, like early days of uni. We went to Guatemala.
Oh, the waterfall.
diving- the diving pools?
You almost drowned.
Yeah. So-
Jesus Christ.
No, because he didn't tell us that he couldn't
can't
swim,
swim,
but
yeah.
he jumped anyway.
yeah. So I don't know how to swim.
Yes.
I wasn't hiding that. But
But you didn't mention it either.
didn't mention
Yeah,
it.
that's so
so
silly.
I was at the top of the diving, like the rock.
Yeah, at the
thingy.
cliff. Oh
my
The cliff.
God.
Oh,
Yeah.
it wasn't watermelon, it was mermaid pools.
Mermaid pools. Yeah,
Okay.
sorry,
Oh my
mermaid
God.
pools.
Okay.
And then we had a friend who was really scared of jumping down.
Oh my God.
And then I'm like, I don't know how to swim. So if I can get you down, can you save me from drowning? I was like, yeah, I got you, bro.
Is that me?
And so, no, it was,
Oh,
you can bring that out.
right.
Yeah. And so we jumped down, and then I think I drowned, essentially. I kept going down, like,
Couldn't
all the way
keep
down.
going up,
I
yeah.
didn't touch the bottom.
Yeah.
And then I was like,
pretty
oh,
deep.
this is kind of
Yeah.
it. I started feeling water in my lungs and all
Yeah.
sort of. And then like there was like a song playing softly in my head, and then I felt this like extreme sense of peace just like wash over me. Like I panicked for like a third of a second, but
Yeah.
after that it was just like calm, like
Interesting.
solemn. It was just like, okay, you know what? Like if this is it, I was like I think 20 at the time.
Yeah.
I was like, if this is it, then like that's all right. Like, I'm good with this ending right now.
What?
And
I would
then
not have been at that
was-
age.
He's
You know how
insane.
traumatized that would be?
Yeah, can you imagine?
Guys.
What did you do?
Yeah, can you imagine?
I felt that for like minutes at a time, right? It felt like ages,
Wow.
right? And then I was kind of cool with it being that's it. And then at some point, I felt my friend like grab the back of my neck, pull me up, and then that's when like lungs started coming, air started coming to my
coming.
lungs again. I started
Yeah.
coughing all the water out, and I was like, oh. I'm a little bit annoyed by that.
Oh God.
I was like, I didn't tell him that. I wasn't like pissed off or anything. I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
He
that.
can find it if he listens to the podcast.
That
Just gotta send it through to you.
Oh my
I
God.
was like, oh, that kind of sucked that ended, bro.
can I ask in what world would you be okay at that age to be okay with like not
that's-
living?
That's what I'm saying. Like there was nothing in my life that indicated that.
Okay.
But it's just like the peace that I felt at that point was just it
It's
sort
just
of
a
makes your
feeling.
brain kind of
It's like
feel
an adrenaline high. You want to stay to that high.
kinda, yeah. I would
Okay.
say that.
Okay.
They say when you're dying or about to pass away that
Mm.
your brain releases a lot of endorphins
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
help you ride it out.
Okay.
Yeah, basically.
And that
Okay.
might be what you were going
Yeah,
through.
it could be.
experiencing.
So whatever that is, like maybe 10% of that, and it's like,
Okay.
okay, I kind of get it. So if oblivion happens, if I die, then it's fine.
Okay.
Like you know.
Yeah.
So that's
I feel like I had a completely different
Oh my God.
experience.
I take so many people to. I just swore. Sorry. I take so many people to freaking mermaid pools and like just like. Oh, so weird.
I-
Luke would have been
Right.
guilty forever.
That's fine, bro.
I know.
Yeah.
I
That's
remember swimming
fine.
to you as well because I was already in there or something.
Yeah,
along
that would
those
have been
lines.
really traumatic.
Yeah, but we all
Anyways.
lived. It's fine. We already know it now. So.
But yeah,
Same.
like on the whole oblivion thing, like have you heard about the whole thing how they did a test about measuring someone's body right before they die, and then they measured a body after they die, and it's just like so much lighter. And then they believe it's like, it's a test of like the soul and all that that's leaving the body. People say it's just an air, but then there's like a huge significant difference. And every time they do it, like testing again and again, it's always the exact same weight. Like the weight difference.
The word too.
So then it's not soul based?
What do you mean?
Because if it's all the same weight, how can everyone's soul be the same weight?
Do you think everyone's soul is a different?
Yes.
If that exists, oh, really? So like
In that situation, wouldn't it make sense?
like a heavier person, like a fat person, would have a heavier soul.
No, like a stronger person would have like
What?
Someone with a stronger,
stronger
character,
will.
Yeah.
stronger will.
yeah.
Stronger will.
If it's their soul, is that not how it works?
I
don't
wouldn't
know.
think so.
I thought we were all like equivalent, and then we get tested.
I mean, that's what
Yeah,
Egyptian
that's what-
mythology.
Yeah,
is.
Yeah,
exactly.
that's-
That's
yeah,
what
that's-
I'm thinking about.
Okay.
You get
Like
weight on your
the
past
feather and the
being.
I see.
Yeah.
My
get to
bad.
wait after,
My
not like-
bad. My bad.
Yeah. But anyways, that's just
I've
what I
never
want
heard
to talk
the
about
soul
Oblivion. Anyways,
measured though.
like I always thought ghosts were like the same weight. You know what I mean? Sorry, like
not fair
Okay.
enough.
Yeah,
Exactly, right?
I never really contemplated it until just then.
fair,
And then I was like,
I thought the point
Maybe.
of ghosts was that they had no mass, so they can't.
that's
have
what I'm saying.
weight.
They're all
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
same because they have no mass.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see.
But anyways, let's move on to the next part of the app.
Ghosts
so I
would be
want
an
to test.
interesting topic though too, like supernatural beings. Do we believe in that? But anyway.
I'm willing to whip out a Ouija board. And
Nah, bro,
Please
I'm
no.
good.
Okay, yeah,
I'm
not
good.
that.
Hey, you
That
said
movie-
ghosts.
I got too many
No.
demons already,
Bucket
bro.
list, you
It's
guys.
fine.
I gotta complete it somehow.
Yeah, I'm not.
Can't do it
I'm not
alone.
involved in that one.
I'm not bringing
You
a
can
spirit
get
home,
our
man. I'm good.
viewers.
All right. Anyways, back to the next part. So I wanted to test your guys' moral compass because again,
Is there a right or wrong answer?
no, it's just like a thought experiment.
Theoretically, there
Really.
Yeah.
should be.
Oh, okay.
So first question:
Okay.
Is euthanasia acceptable?
Oh.
I find it
I
absolutely.
think so. I think so.
Yeah.
You guys? What about you, Marisse?
I think that there is a big. Personally, I see why euthanasia should be valid in special cases, particularly when a person. Well, look, a person has a right to die with dignity and on their own terms.
Yeah.
On their own accord. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I've seen a lot of people who are happy and fulfilled in where their life has been, and unfortunately have reached a point where their body is not keeping up
Yeah.
with their will, to continue on, and that
Yeah.
takes a toll on you. When you're always in pain
Yeah,
and you can't
exactly.
do things for yourself. So I think people should be able to decide, not the relatives or not people who are, who the person should be the one to decide
Yeah.
whether or not they're ready for that. If, obviously
100%.
not everyone, like you can't just talk to random people in the street who might not be, in a good place in their lives and give them that choice. I still think that should be considered and assessed. But I think that's
That's a
that
fair
should
point.
be,
Yeah.
their right to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people then think that that's an anti-life sort of thing. And I think
Yeah.
that's where the debate comes from.
Yeah, I mean, there's a clear difference between like euthanasia and suicide. Like
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
are two like very
Yeah.
different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But somewhere in the Netherlands, they have like a euthanasia
Clinic or
clinic,
something.
right?
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah, I
like,
think
people
it's
just
Swiss,
go and
maybe?
then get their body sent back.
No, but you have to jump through. Like
Yeah,
you have to
obviously
fill out a lot of paperwork.
There's
criteria.
a
Yeah.
process,
Yeah, there's a
100%.
process.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure I think it's like 6 different doctors need to sign you off to be like,
okay.
okay, this person is like medically is suffering.
Yeah.
And, has a right to not live
Yeah.
anymore if they don't want to.
Yeah.
And like you have to prove that your condition's terminal and all this. It's like, it's not just like a Tuesday, I had a bad weekend. Can I just,
Yeah.
it's not one of those
Yeah.
situations.
Like you have to go through all the hoops, all
Yeah.
the rings to.
And it's not a quick turnaround time either. Like it's,
Yeah.
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 All right, on to the next one. Should doctors prioritize saving younger patients over older ones?
like prioritize as
Like
in,
in,
let's
Are
say
you
like
saying
an
if-
old person.
like let's say
Are
there's
you
a car
saying-
crash between an old person and a young person. Who do they save first?
They would go to different parts of the hospital and have different doctors treating them. So, I mean,
Good point. Good
That's a
point.
good point.
Good point. But
Like let's say if you're a first responder, like
yeah, first responder. What's your go-to?
I think you go to it. Is whoever you can save the quickest, right?
Yeah.
Like that's sort of the go. If you're asking me who deserves to live more,
Right.
yeah, an old person or a child, I think a kid deserves to live more. Only because like
I would
like,
say the same.
Yeah.
I would say the same.
as an old person, like you already had your shot. Like it's okay. If we save you now, you have another maybe max 10 years. How much are you gonna do in those 10
Yeah.
years? You know, as a kid, there's just
There's so much more life.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the value proposition
Yes.
is sort of higher. No,
Yeah.
but removing that, you know what I mean? Like the kid has more of a chance to live more of a life.
Yeah.
Like, have you heard of a robotics writer, Isaac
Asimov.
Asimov? He did like
Asimov.
short stories on robotics and
Yeah.
like AI, and like he said it's like, oh, robots prioritize whoever they can save first. There's a movie, one of the movies that's based on his writings has Will Smith.
iRobot, yeah.
iRobot.
Oh,
yeah.
yes. That movie.
And
Wow.
like Will Smith has an issue with like of a robot because he saved Will Smith over the kid that was like drowning. And
Yeah.
just because the kid had a lower percentage of living.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just interesting to see. But yeah, honestly, yeah, I would save the younger person first. Yeah. But would it be any different if probably it is, but like if the older person's someone you know, related? Throwing that in a wrench.
I would still choose the child,
So choose for the top.
unfortunately.
Interesting.
I don't think I can say what I would do in the moment because, you know, I can theorize what I would do, but at the time, if
It's a moment thing, right?
Yeah,
It's all in the
definitely.
moment.
That is true as
Yeah.
well.
Like if it was
I'm just using logic in this in this
Like, if it
situation.
was-
yeah.
if
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
going to my core beliefs and like in my friends, if it was my friend compared to a kid, I'm most likely gonna say my friend.
Yeah. But you asked me an
yeah.
elder, like,
A relative.
and that's old.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So like let's change it, man. Would it be if it was, let's say, your family, or just like close family
Oh, yeah,
member?
of course.
Yeah, then it'll be family over
Yeah.
a kid. Right?
Like that's just like a stranger versus someone that you love and care about,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah,
you know.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Like, there's obviously more sentimental value.
But like, you know, in saying that, if let's say there was an accident and then someone that I cared about was and then a stranger, and then the stranger was the person that was saved because they're the easiest to be saved, I think I'll be fine with that. Like as a
Like,
you
later down the track, you would be, but initially, you will not be.
like if someone else like did the saving and they were like, you know, I'd save the first person that I could type thing. I'd be like,
Yeah.
I guess because, you know, it's not anything personal.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
yeah.
how triage
Yeah.
works sometimes.
Yeah, true.
Okay. Oh,
That's
interesting.
true.
What about choosing between someone who caused their condition and someone who didn't? Saving a life. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like an organ transplant type situation.
Because there's like I did some research before this about how there was a case. Oh, that was different. But there's been cases where people have been accused, and even rumors about like if you sign up to be an organ donor, then they're most likely gonna like speed your death or whatever. But, I mean, certain countries have like restrictions, like you have to follow certain protocols to prevent that. Like someone has to be dead or close to death within 90 minutes or whatever, so forth to apply. But in a situation where, let's say, someone close to you is close to death and their organs can save 20 people, would you do it? And they have little chance of surviving. Would you do it?
Did they consent to be an organ
Yeah.
donor before they were
That's
in
a
an
good
accident?
question.
Yes,
Very
Then
good
yes.
question.
Yeah, sure.
That was their wishes.
Fulfilling their wishes.
their wishes. But if the odds of that from like 10% goes to like 50%,
Like 50% they would survive?
50% they will survive.
Then that's not up to me to take that chance away from them. I think I'd let
The
it play
doctors.
out.
Right?
Yeah.
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 To let
Handle
it
that.
fate and see if it goes higher and lower.
Yeah.
I mean, that's different to your question of like.
Yeah, sorry. The condition thing. All right, I did tell you. But let's go through this and then go back to the condition thing.
No, I mean, if you're at 50% capacity, then you still have like the wherewithal to decide. I think.
Yeah.
You know, like let's say for example, if I become vegetable, then you have my permission to euthanize me.
Okay. Yeah.
And then like
know,
just
to know.
send my organs out.
Yeah, I'll just play
Whatever's
this
usable.
as evidence.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I don't want to say my full name. Vu of Sound, Mind and Body. Consent to my
Okay.
partner, blah, blah, blah.
I just have an organ donor card, so you can do
Yes,
that too.
How do you? What's the process of becoming an organ donor?
Oh, you just use your
Just fill out a
MyGov,
form.
and
Yeah,
you can
I've
complete
seen
it on
it.
that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Then you get a little card that
Yeah.
just says I'm an organ donor. Yeah, you don't have to keep it on you.
But
like,
there's no
You
like
can put it on your phone.
yeah.
checks or anything like that. Like
The checks would happen if you were ever, unfortunately, like
I see.
in a
Yeah.
position
Yeah.
to donate your
Okay.
organs.
Okay.
In Australia, it's good because you can only accept like organs via donation. You know, and so there's a lot of really interesting like ethics and morals around organ donating and selling and stuff like that. And what rules should be in place to ensure that like people aren't being, you know, harvested or
Yeah.
organs being
forced
stolen
or
and stuff.
compelled to
Yeah.
do it.
Okay.
In Australia, that's why it's only like donation only. So
Yeah.
there's no like exchange of goods
Yeah.
in order to
Yeah.
get that.
Yeah.
And I think that consideration happens towards the end of your life.
Okay.
All right.
Good to
Again,
know.
another small detergent. Did you two, especially since you've studied in health and worked in health and so forth, did you have to like learn any like morality based things? Because I remember I think Skiff had a lot of morality questions.
Yeah, there was
What
like
did you guys?
a
What did like in summary? What did you guys learn?
Sorry, what is
Hippocratic
that?
oath, right? You know?
Well, we had ethics like lectures.
Yeah.
We did go through like what's the process of organ donation, the ideas of social equity and things like that. Obviously, it was just guidelines. There was no this is what's right and this is what's wrong. It was more, you know, these are the different ethical these are the different ethical viewpoints or paradigms that you can use to decide, you know, what the right or wrong is in
Okay.
each individual situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Right.
So yeah, it's like a part of the job.
Yeah,
like
okay.
you're
It's part of the job, you
taught
understand.
that. You know, they're
Okay.
not just relying on the fact that you might pick up the cues or whatever. It's like we got to make sure that these employees know how to work within what we can legally say. It's sometimes it's a legal thing.
What's acceptable?
What's acceptable, legally speaking, and socially speaking, in the
Yes.
current society that they live in,
Yeah.
that they practice in.
So there's some cultural lens to
Yeah,
some
yeah, yeah.
ethics. So
So saying with these classes on ethics, I'm assuming that also shaped your moral compass, or do you think it's like no, it giving me a better understanding, or what do you say?
I think it gave me the tools to understand what my ethics were.
Okay.
Like, I didn't realize there was a term for what I like, you know, doing what's better for the group than for an individual person.
Okay.
And then when that might not be as valid versus when, it challenged me to question my existing ethical stances on things. And then real life always finds a way to challenge your ethical viewpoints, I think.
Yeah.
All right.
I found it more like company culture. Like
Okay.
to work there, you need to do this. While like you might have differing opinions on it. Like to work here means to follow these rules and
Procedures.
principles.
Right.
I see.
You know? Yeah. Because like I mean, like I'm a fully formed adult. Like I, you know, it's I'm gonna have those things baked into me, and you know, like I'm happy to learn and like evolve and stuff. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna embody whatever ethics my company espouses at the time. In saying that, I used to work for like a private for-profit company, and so their motivations, you know, a little bit different to the public system. Let's say, so yeah.
All right. So back to the whole choosing someone that like deserves it or not. Let's say in the scenario, it's like you're in charge of an organ transplant, and do you follow procedure and give it to the next person that doesn't deserve it, or give it to someone that actually deserves it? If you had the actual choice.
I think part of that job is not having to make that assessment. Like, there's no
Yes.
like this person deserves this. It's like a list.
Just a procedure,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's just a
it's like-
name.
Yeah. Yes. It's. I mean,
But how would you feel? Like, besides the whole procedure, how do you actually feel about it? Like, if you could, would you?
if I could give it to someone more deserving,
Yes.
I think you have, as part of the job, you have to deal with the idea that the people who deserve the most help won't get it.
Okay.
Like that's kind of part
Like,
of it.
they may or may not get it.
So
Yeah.
you agree?
Yeah, I do agree.
I think
Like there's a process.
Yeah.
And
That's why it's
you
there,
can't
right?
go out of that. I
There's a
guess.
reason why the process is there.
Correct.
You know.
Correct.
I think it's probably beyond my job to make that decision, and I'm glad because I think there are a lot of complex factors in play that I probably don't know, and I think it's probably I think I know that I'm probably not the best person to make that decision, and it's also not too good to get too close to my patients to start feeling like
Yes.
you know I'm more connected to one versus the other. That'll affect my choice too.
Yeah. So you kind of have to just create like a line in the sand and just follow through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in as an inverse, like, how do you guys feel about the death penalty?
I'm for it.
Oh,
I'm actually for it.
really?
Because it also goes along my point about if Thanos was correct. He is correct. He is absolutely correct. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Like,
Can you explain that? I didn't
so
understand.
Thanos on his, you know, the Marvel universe.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Snap.
Yeah. But
Who's
Snap,
this
Oh,
philosopher?
sorry. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Yes. Marvel,
he
yes.
did eliminate 50% of like his home
Wait,
planet.
you believed in that?
And he's 100% agree. I agree with him.
Oh,
Hot take or not?
I don't think it's a hot take.
That's a hot take.
Look. It's he has a like. Okay, the way he did it was completely stupid. But like, it's just like he makes sense. Like, if we got to a point where we were overpopulated, all right, what do you expect us to do? What do you expect is the next option for like, planet Earth? I'm sorry. It will end up that way, one way or another. I reckon.
Okay,
What
I'm happy for the conversation to go there, but like bring it back to the death penalty first.
Okay, yes.
Like unless you're advocating for the death penalty for 50% of the human
No,
population.
sorry. But in terms of death penalty,
Because that was a strong yes.
Yeah,
That was a very strong yes.
Okay, so you think as a society we have the right to determine who to kill, essentially,
Yes.
as a form of punishment? Like death is punishment,
Yes.
or is it like removing them from being a
It's
burden
pretty
to
much the
society?
whole the 10 Commandments and all of that, and it's like if you break the commandments, you're going to hell. But this brings it into real life. Does that make sense?
Like you're saying, if you don't participate in the rules of society, you should not be in society. Is
Yes.
what I'm saying.
Yeah. It is very conformity and very dystopian. Yeah.
But I guess if you're trusting humans to decide who deserves to go or not, you have to be confident that they will always correctly
Exactly. It has to
pick
be
who that
for
is.
a 100% process. Like, I'm not going to say like 5
Yeah.
people are going to decide one person's life or death, right? It has to be go through like, let's say, going through.
Like, what's a
100
sample size?
Yeah, 100 people. 100 people. 100 people.
So okay. So 100 people need to figure out if one person should
100
die or not.
intellectuals.
Okay,
of
100
everything.
intellectuals.
Yeah.
What about people who, like, in those 100 people, are they people who, like, for example, if the person who's on the death penalty killed someone's family, are the people who have been impacted by that death in
They
that
don't
100?
get
Yeah,
a
do
say.
they-
It's like a judge on jury.
You're
If
just
you-
talking about a jury, yes.
Yeah, you're talking about a jury.
So, like, essentially, what you're describing is like a trial
understand.
with a jury,
Trial.
right?
Yeah, a
so
trial,
that happens
yeah.
already.
Yeah.
Right?
But there's. Sorry.
Yes, that does happen already,
What
yes.
happens when even one, like, let's say there's like in this year, there's like this month, let's just say this month, there's like 10 people going to death row, right? And one of those people,
Was actually innocent?
yeah, was actually innocent.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
think that's an acceptable enough level of like incorrectness to
Yeah.
allow the death penalty to exist?
I would say so. My
Good question.
crazy undeveloped plan of how this would work would be review once.
Disclaimer.
All right. Put into not put so like reviewed once, like put in jury once, get reviewed to see any progress of improvement. Like that's a normal system, right? If you
Yeah.
you go out on a good
Yeah.
bond and so forth,
Okay.
and then trial time period of being into civilization. If it fails,
Okay.
then last final review, and then that's pretty much that review is the.
So in the situation in which it fails, like how do you define that? Is it like a murderer murders again?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
And so then is the sacrifice of that one person enough to determine that this other person should have died already?
Yes.
So you're willing to sacrifice another person to kill
Another
another
innocent
person?
person.
It happens too much too often already.
Okay.
That this is a lower case, and this because people still get put into the system, yes, put into life and like live out their life. Like we can't waste our resources for letting that person just like die out on like natural causes.
Yeah, yeah.
sorry.
Like the argument behind like someone that's you have to feed and clothe and bathe someone that is basically on death row for the rest of their life, and how much of a burden that is on society. Is
Yeah.
that? Yeah. Okay. Okay.
But then you need a system that actually rehabilitates people.
Yeah,
Or
of course, definitely. And right now, society doesn't have the funds to completely commit to that. Like they try,
Okay.
like some places try, but again, like that's a lot of resources.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's Luke's opinion.
That is my opinion, you guys. I'm
Disclaimer,
sorry.
this is
It's
Luke's
okay.
Yes.
Anyways,
So,
you two, you
Sam?
three, go. I'm gonna shut up for a while.
yeah. Was
No, it's fine.
knowing that was just right there. What is your no judgment? No judgment. What is your stance on the death
We
penalty?
listen, but we don't judge.
Because I noted that down and I put it away. I'm processing later.
It's a hard one because, like, I feel like if you were to be, like, if your result of a jury, a trial was death penalty, you must have done something obviously really bad,
Okay.
right? And I'm assuming that involves a loss of lives because of that one person. And I'd hope, obviously, that that person is not innocent, right?
Like there's a
That
person.
would really mess with me if we killed someone, like if we
Dual innocence.
and and if they were innocent, like later that, because there's been situations like that, right? In
history.
in history, yes. And so having that as an option makes it a bit more complicated for me to say yes to the death penalty.
Yeah.
But if all the evidence shows that this person has, I still don't believe, like,
You don't believe it?
I still don't believe they
Deserve death.
deserve death, but I know that if they go to jail, they're going to be, like, some people are in a better place in jail than outside of jail. Like, they're well fed, and I don't think they deserve that.
Oh, okay.
So then
The system's too nice on them. In other
Yeah.
words? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
So I have a conflict there.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah. Because I've seen like, I guess, movies and like documentaries where
Like in Europe, their prisons are like better than healthcare
Yeah.
system and all that.
stuff like that. And that,
Yeah, Danish prisons are like nice and shit.
yeah, like the way they're treated in jail might have been better like than the way
Yeah,
that they
yeah,
would have
yeah.
been treated in outside. And I don't think they deserve that, unfortunately. But I
you-
don't think we're in the place to consider whether or not they die or not.
That would be so crazy if like a homeless guy is like, I can't deal
That
with
happens.
that does happen.
That's a thing
Yes,
that
that
exists.
definitely does
But
happen.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
so,
That's
that
what I'm
concept.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that speaks to like a larger failing of society that we
Yeah,
can't give
it is.
people.
Yeah,
a
I have
good
strong
life.
opinions on this. So
Yes.
feel free to speak before I word vomit for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it's as my personal opinion. I don't think that the death penalty. I don't think right now. I don't believe in it because I think it's too easy to send an innocent person to death row, and that's happened unfortunately where people were disadvantaged in the representation at court.
Yes.
We don't
Very
have
good
a
point.
we don't have a legal system that exists yet that can dole out punishment like that fairly. What that punishment is for the people who've done the worst things ever, I can't say. I don't have an idea for that or what's fair for that. But I think that until we can sort out innocence in a not in a black and white way, but in a better way, in a less biased way, then that shouldn't be on the table.
Yeah.
Yet, like
Yes.
we said.
100%.
I mean, for me, to put it practically, and so I don't diatribe for the next 20 minutes, the fact that we cannot, I find it unacceptable if one singular innocent person dies via the death penalty. And then the fact that the system that we have can allow that, even
Yes.
the most minuscule possible way, to happen, I think it just shouldn't
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
I don't think that we as a species have it in us to determine who lives and who dies.
Yeah.
Like that, I don't think that should be
Agreed.
allowed. The naughty corner, fine. Like that's the thing.
Punishment. of some sort.
Solitary.
Yeah, that sort of
correct.
thing. But I don't think we have the right to determine someone should be booted off this plane of existence.
Yeah.
And the assumption that the death penalty is righteous, I think, is based on a belief that the legal system is infallible.
Yeah.
Is that whatever happens there is the absolute truth. That's
Yeah.
what happens.
Yeah.
And
It's what people want to believe.
yeah, that's a nice and easy thing to swallow, right? Is that these
Yeah.
people did their job to prove the truth.
Yeah.
And that's not what it is, we're all adults now. We each, even in your own specific professions, the gray areas that you
Yeah.
can work around there.
Yeah.
And even though on paper it looks black and white, there's some real shady stuff happening in the background, and that you can finesse the situation to look like something else,
Yeah.
right? And that's basically what law is. You have to convince people of a truth that you are putting forth as opposed to an absolute, right? Corporations get away with terrible things all the time. You know what I mean? It's that sort of
Yes.
thing. And so because that whole system is not
Fully secure.
right? It's not justice is blind also. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's not it's not real. It's theater, right? Yes, it's necessary, but it's in a way theater. And if there's room for that theater to lead to an innocent person going to death row, I don't find that acceptable.
Yeah.
And so for that reason, I don't think there should be the death penalty at
Yeah.
all.
Okay.
I just find it really interesting that there is, obviously in America, there's,
Yeah.
that's still happening. And I just don't understand America as a whole sometimes.
No, yeah, I don't think a lot of
In the
people do.
sense of,
America doesn't know itself as a whole.
Yeah.
but how there's so many, obviously, different states, and they all have different rules and regulations and how that can function in a world.
Yeah, they have
I don't.
states'
I
rights.
just can't
Yeah.
fathom that. So
Yeah.
I think that's why, and I think also the death penalty was such a barbaric, years, centuries ago kind of experience.
Yeah, because you had
And-
public lynchings, hanging,
Yeah.
you know.
And now I think we've developed to have more of a perspective on that whole procedure and process. And yeah, everyone has their own opinion, obviously, on the death penalty. But I think in our society now, I feel like it makes sense, where we're coming from
Yeah.
a lot more.
So now knowing that, Luke, does that move that thing at all, or is it still okay?
I'm still,
Very
confident in my
firm.
answer.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what the reasoning is, one, there are scrounge on the resources. Right?
Resources, the resources, and what else was there? Just remember.
they're not what's your reasoning, right? Death being is
Valid.
what's the difference between them staying alive and living with the pain of what they did versus the quick and easy out of death?
I also feel like that living with the pain isn't a concept that most people have. Unfortunately, people can
Especially people at that.
at that
who-
frequency of doing crime and
Yeah.
taking a life.
That's probably not something
Remorse
that what they're
isn't
thinking about.
encoded. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe they'll feel about it eventually. I'm gonna let them decide that.
Yeah.
Hopefully, on their last moments before death, they can think about that. But when that's too late. That's then
Yeah.
they'll have to decide that on whatever afterlife, that either oblivion, reincarnation takes them or whatnot.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you know what I mean. And it's just like
But are you?
And in this way, this will also enforce all the laws and rules for everyone else to do better.
Okay.
Like I said about
Yeah.
look, like I said about the whole commandments, right? Commandments is with the whole commandment and religion and all that, they bring us to do better, right? But because people also like grow up without that faith or start not believing it, they'll fall out of line from that. Does it make sense?
I understand what you're trying to say.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
What if the punishment forced them to contribute to society in ways that other people wouldn't want to? Would that then be a better, would you consider that as an alternative to the death penalty?
Give me an example.
Like slave labor.
Or like garbage?
okay.
Okay, I know that.
But like prison inmates being like forced into labor. You know what I mean?
Or like
Which is a thing that is
they're
happening.
given a job that most people wouldn't want to do. Like they can choose from the work that they'll do, but
Yeah.
I guess they'll have to do that,
Yeah.
contribute in that way.
Like right now, there are inmates in California that are firemen for the fires.
I've seen that
Yes,
TV show.
I heard about that.
I've seen that TV
Yeah,
show.
this is happening right now. They're
Yeah.
earning
No,
like
it's happening
$3.
in real
Yeah,
life.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I-
they're earning $3 an hour,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
To do like to save people's lives and
Yes.
whatnot. And in essence, that's slave labor. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't
I
get
guess.
$3,
It
but
is.
like you know,
Yeah.
and I guess that might be better than like staying in your cell currently. But that's them contributing to society, though.
If that's all right, and that may be, I'm willing to accept that as a test of like them being rehabilitation
Okay.
process.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be that one of the steps before the death penalty. But if that doesn't work out and they do something effed up about like something along those lines and maybe start the fires or some crazy stuff like that or kill someone during that process and that doesn't work out, then yeah. So death penalty is the end game.
So,
Okay.
are you
In my
thinking
universe.
death penalty as like a way?
It's his end game.
It's the way it's enforced.
Oh my
It's the
goodness.
way to enforce.
And is that's for the society's benefit,
Yes.
or like whose benefit is it? Society's.
It would be society.
Okay.
So that's just like the point of public lynching and stuff like that. Is if you do this, you go out of line, then we kill you.
Yeah.
So there's a reminder to not do this.
Obviously, it has to be something serious.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be like just like steal once and then death right away.
Yeah. Okay.
So would it be like a loss of life?
It'll be a loss of life or taking someone else's life.
Okay.
But that also doesn't mean like if a lynch mob decides to kill a pedophile, right?
Okay. So
Wait.
wait.
Say that again.
So if someone in that mob kills a pedophile, they don't deserve the death penalty.
Oh, they'll go on trial because it's killing a rock. It's what's the phrase?
It's vigilante justice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't agree with that as well.
Okay.
Batman is wrong.
Okay. Because I was like,
If
yeah.
we have a
Wait.
Batman, that's completely fine. If we had
Wait, so
Wait.
Batman, it's okay for Batman to do it?
No,
but that,
Batman doesn't kill people.
Oh.
So it's fine.
Exactly. That's why.
Yeah,
that's why he's
Batman doesn't
allowed.
kill
That's why
people.
he's
That's true.
allowed.
Yeah,
If we
fair.
have a Batman, that's
Oh my
fine. Fine. But if we had like a rogue
off
Superman,
the rails, bro.
Sorry, if we had a rogue Superman, I'm sorry, no. Rogue Superman, no. Yeah. Have you seen those like movies where Superman goes
Yeah,
rogue and
Yes,
like, starts
yes.
killing people? Yeah.
it's like Homelander from
Yes,
The Boys.
Homelander,
Yeah.
exactly.
goodness.
If we have a Homelander situation, that's a no-go. Yeah. Batman is fine.
This is not the direction I expected this to go.
Anyway,
Yeah.
all right, let's get back to the
Yeah.
topic because we need
okay.
to wrap up the app as well.
What's the last thing?
The last 2 points, we go briefly only. Do you believe Thanos was correct?
No, I don't
No.
believe
Yeah,
Thanos
no,
was correct.
I think Luke, yeah, you do.
I do. I
those
mean-
that believe in the death penalty apparently do.
Yeah,
Fucking-
I mean, like, no, like, so what do you expect? What do you think would happen when, like, Earth gets overpopulated? Because we're reaching a point.
Well, there was like the talk about like moving to a different planet.
Have you, okay, so this is
I
going to
don't
be
know
going in the
about
next
that.
episode as well, but do you know how many satellites are there, like, in our orbit?
Lots.
Yeah, like 8,000, and we only use half of them. Like, that already eliminates, like, our possible chances of doing space travel, The more satellites we throw up there, it's going to be harder because we're going to crash into one and so forth.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Space waste is a real
But we've
problem.
launched like things into the orbit in the moon.
We still haven't seen any footage, but that's for another episode.
Yeah. That is true.
I'm sorry. Anyway, just shook both of you right now.
It's hilarious.
But anyways,
No.
but yeah, space travel, that's still a long time away. And I feel like we're almost at that, curve of overpopulation. Like we still are facing poverty and
I
like
think the problem
hunger.
with poverty is there are the resources, but they're not distributed
Exactly.
in a way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Snaps for a race.
So true.
Yes. But again, we're not doing anything about it.
Luigi did his best, but Oh my god. we're
But maybe we should fix that problem first. Then we can start thinking about culling people. Like maybe that should be a much later.
Yeah.
Later
thing.
down the problem.
I mean,
Yeah, down the track.
as a function of like a society that gets overdeveloped. What is it? Overpopulated.
Populated.
Yeah.
Yes.
There is like the course of things is eventually they find more resources, right? And so to Sam's point of them of us moving to a different planet one day, that's a thing that like can theoretically happen and can only happen given our limited number of resources, right?
Yes.
But until then, you would hope that like at one day if there's not enough people to buy, the billionaires would have to share their money. Do you know what I mean? Like there will be an inflection point where there's too many poor people that cannot afford like AI made that
Yeah.
like they're going to be like, okay, maybe we just like share a little bit of this wealth.
Yeah.
And then
The government will
have
put
that
something in
happen.
place or
Yeah,
Right?
and in a
You would
weird
hope to
way,
something like that,
and in
yeah.
a weird way, the whole like big dick measuring contest about like shooting a rocket into space between
Yeah.
Elon and what's his face,
Facebook guy?
Amazon guy,
Oh.
Amazon.
Bezos?
Bezos, yeah, is kind of good for longevity of like humanity because it means that we're like moving a dial in terms of space exploration.
Yes.
Again, a lot of ethics and discussions
Sorry,
that can be
I'm
had
like
there.
very pessimistic about that. You're about to be very optimistic about that.
I mean, yeah, but like eventually that like that's what happens, right?
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
like there's not enough space anymore, the species moves elsewhere. Remove the
Yes.
fact that we're human. Like like that just has to happen.
And if
Yeah.
it doesn't happen, and
Then
unfortunately,
we die anyways.
Yeah, have you
Yeah.
seen that
Yeah.
movie with Meryl Streep and all those famous actors on Netflix? How it pretty much paints a scenario about how all the rich people, they knew that the world was going to end. And then all they did was just pull their resources to build one rocket for all the rich people to go overseas.
Yeah.
Up.
isn't that like 2012, the one where there was a flood and they all had to go on a boat?
No, that was a different one.
Yeah, but that's also
This
that
is-
rich
That is
people. Only
also-
rich
Yeah.
people can
Yeah,
get
yeah.
a
Yes.
rock. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Similar concept.
And it was just like very scarily true. Like people like found
Yeah, yeah.
because they put like a person that like pretty much had the same ideas of like Trump and all that.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Look. It's bad.
Yeah.
But like, humanity still survives, even though it's like terrible rich people. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So just if you're looking at it from a macro perspective in that way, like if something happens to Earth and there's an apocalypse, and then there's a group of people that survive,
Okay.
there's a strong chance that those people are the worst people that you've ever met in your life, and they're billionaires.
All
And
right.
then
Highly likely.
they repopulate the Earth.
Okay.
Yes.
Right, but humanity continues. Is what it is.
All right.
As a whole, yep.
All right. Next one. If a family member or a friend kills someone, would you help them cover it up?
What a question.
I asked my mom this question once, and she said, "No, I'm turning you in."
Oh shit! Thanks, Tita.
I think it's her moral compass would not allow her to live with the guilt of harboring a criminal. I think I don't know what my dad would say.
Would you rat someone out?
Yeah. I think I'd hear them out first, but I don't think that would even change my judgment of that they killed someone.
Any reasoning?
Is it situational as well? If it's like if they killed someone by accident compared to they had
self-
Yes,
Self-defense.
obviously it is
Yeah.
different. Like it is, like if it's self-defense or, yeah, it definitely, or if it's an accident, I don't know what an accident.
like so self-defense or like
Like
let's
they
say
bumped
they
their
hit
car.
someone and that person was like walking like across the road and they hit someone and killed them. And like no one was drunk. It was just like that person was not visible when the collision happened.
That's too specific of a situation. Let's not.
That sounds like a perfect example.
No, as in, Like, I don't want to go like scenario by scenario because
Okay.
that's
Because
just
there's too many
gonna-
scenarios.
There's too many
Yeah.
scenarios.
Alright,
I-
yeah.
Like, I have to make a general statement, right?
Okay.
We all have to make a general statement. So I would probably turn them in.
You turn them in. Okay.
Like, I'd try to understand what happened, understand what was in their control, what was out of their control, and what led up to that incident, and whether or not they feel remorse or
Okay.
not, and like how they're feeling in that situation.
Alright.
And then I make a judgment.
Alright.
But ultimately, I think I would still.
Maurice?
I think it's very situational, but
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
if it was an accident or in self-defense, I would encourage them to, well, and it was clearly that, I would help them get all the evidence they need, and then
Yes.
I'd
Yeah,
encourage them to
yeah.
present
Yes.
it. So that, you
So
know,
that's one
Yeah.
situation.
yeah,
Yes.
instead of committing a crime to help cover up an accident, which then,
That just makes it bigger.
worse.
Yeah, it makes
Like,
it
yeah,
worse.
you get to
exactly.
the accident, you get
Yes.
manslaughter. It's fine.
yeah, but if someone came up
fine.
to me,
But it's better. You know what I mean?
yeah, then the first degree.
Yes.
murder.
Yeah.
But
Correct.
if say someone I cared about came up to me and it was like, I premeditatedly did this, this,
Yeah,
and this,
yeah.
I'm like, okay, you're a bit of a psychopath, and maybe for my own safety. as
Correct.
well,
Yeah.
I need to think
Yeah.
about this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Vu?
I mean, my rule is that I'm not a rat.
That's what you're gonna go with.
Wait, you're not a rat, but you are willing to tell like if Sam cheated on her boyfriend, if Sam's boyfriend cheated on her, you would rat her out to her boyfriend? Wait, no, what was it? You want
You would expose the cheater. You would expose the cheater.
because I remember
Okay,
in the cheating episode, you'd say that you're like if Sam found that Marisse was cheating on you, you expect Sam to rat on Marisse to
and
you.
fair.
Yeah, because you're my friend. Do you know what I mean?
You're not
But
a
like,
rat.
that's different
If it was
to-
my friend, I hope they
No,
would
but that's different
tell on
than
me.
you ratting on me. You know what I mean? Like that's. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But
The
you should-
transit of property is different, right?
It is. It is different.
It's different. She understands me, bro.
is
We're on a
I
wavelength.
think generally, if someone was cheating, I think, despite
No,
whoever's
it's about
friend it is-
ratting. It's
Okay.
about ratting,
Okay.
not the cheating.
All
It's
right.
about
No, I
ratting.
get that.
All right,
But
all right. Anyways, back to the
Yeah,
one.
It's like
You're not a
if-
rat, yes.
Okay, the situation. Let's say if I find it morally kind of justifiable that they murdered someone very questionable, like an abuser, like someone really really bad, blah blah blah, and then the cops walked up to me and was like, "Hey, you know who killed this person?" I'm gonna be like, "I don't know."
You'd be in a like.
I wouldn't be an accomplice. I wouldn't help. I
Okay.
wouldn't be like, "Hey, I'm gonna help
Bro
you
code.
hide." Yeah, I would like hide the body. I might like send you Google links maybe of like what to do, but like
Like all the acids and
Yeah.
unrelated.
Yeah.
Here's
Just
some
unrelated.
links
Yeah.
to Bunnings.
yeah,
yeah.
this is the type of plastic that won't melt in acid.
Here's
you
a
know?
shopping list
like
that
to
you
wrap the body in,
yeah.
stuff like that.
Anyways.
I see.
It's like but then I won't rat. Like that's the only situation. But if it's like you accidentally
Yeah.
hurt someone, if you
Okay.
accidentally kill someone, then it's like, okay, it's better if you own up to this because the family of the people who died owe an explanation. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's like they're
Closure.
allowed that. Right?
Yeah.
So you withhold information, but you just don't volunteer it.
Yeah.
plead the fifth.
But you have to be a very specific person, though. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if it's like I killed a person for fun, it's like no, I'm
Yeah.
ratting on you. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
because if I don't, it means someone else dies. You know what I mean? So, like,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
the
So
situation.
For me, it would be like same along the words. If it was like accident,
Yeah.
I'm happy to cover bro code.
Wait.
An accident, even an accident.
Wait,
Accident, bro
what
code
does that
cover.
involve in terms of covering? Like, would you do the same situation
Would you
like
bury the
Boo?
body?
If
Would
they
you bury
were
the
like
body?
freaking out and then like it's like, all right, where you at? I'm coming to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll honestly help.
You would bury the body.
Yeah,
You would help.
This
you would
will-
provide
this will only
alibi.
apply if it was a mate. If it was a close mate. If it was like Daniel and Ali, if they accidentally kill someone,
Yeah. I
I'm-
like how you
I'm-
don't mention anyone here, bro. You're
Sorry?
like you don't mention anyone
You
here.
guys don't make the cut.
Yeah, we don't make the cut apparently, Sam.
Well, I don't think we're gonna do that either.
no, I feel offended. He
No,
won't
no, no.
bury
He-
a dead body
no,
for
no,
me.
No. I'm not taking it like that. I'm taking it that we're good people that won't put
I
ourselves
think
in
it'll
those
be different. I will
situations.
cover for you guys, but I won't
No,
help
no,
you
you
build
can't
a
add that.
bury a
What?
body.
There's
Now
a limitation
But for
to
Alex
support.
and Daniel, you will.
Alex
Okay,
and Daniel,
now
I'll bury.
I'm-
You guys, I'll cover.
Now
Okay,
I'm
now we
hurt.
know the
Yeah,
pecking
now
order.
I'm
Yeah,
hurt.
yeah. Now we know
Now
the
I'm
pecking
hurt.
order. Okay.
Anyway,
There's
so
a
yeah.
ranking,
But
okay.
Yes,
if,
there is.
If there's another accident, then I'm calling questions. I'm happy to wrap myself out and like be included because like you made me an accessory to crime
No.
at this point.
No, you put yourself in that situation.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
true.
But
the
that's
fact that
admitting to your
that was
truth, right?
on my assumption about I'm helping you because you made a mistake.
Yes.
But if you did it again, that's no longer a mistake. You've done it before. You got
Wow.
a taste of it.
You
and that's
would,
done.
like, you would actually
I'm a
take
sociopath. No, I'm joking.
action.
Yeah.
I prefer Vu's answer.
All right.
Like, just
So you can take
saying,
her.
it is
It's a
personal.
personal thing, but like,
wow.
I'm not gonna ask anyone to bury a body for me. I'm not gonna put them in that situation.
Yeah,
That's fucked up, man.
that is.
It's fine. I did it. It's just me. It's all good.
Yeah.
But if we killed a person together, that's a different question.
my
though.
If we
goodness.
killed a person,
Let's
how
not
what?
Yeah,
Okay, we won't pull that scenario.
I don't want
Legally speaking. Legally speaking.
Yeah.
Anyways, you
No,
guys.
thank you.
All right, let's move into a concluding question. I'm pretty sure everyone has gotten a taste of how our moralities, faith, and pretty much crazy cookie plans. As I guess
one,
me,
I think we've watched too many crime shows.
Yeah.
possibly. Anyways, concluding question: what advice can you give to an audience if they were having trouble with a morality problem?
I don't know.
So I'll go first.
Okay, no, you go.
Sure.
Yeah, so look, you just need to see if you're able to sleep at night by the end of whatever decision you make. Just compare, see if it aligns with your core beliefs, your morals, and so forth. And as long as, just if you can sleep, then do what you got to do, okay? Don't, as Vu has said in the past, don't like change your core beliefs just for the situation. You have to stick it for this problem answer and all that for the rest of your life. Yeah.
But that's that's assuming that like they have a rigid and fully formed
Yeah.
moral center, though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a
Right.
constant.
That's true.
What if they
moral
don't?
compass.
If they don't,
Yeah.
second opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Yahoo Answers. No. Joking. Anyways,
Cora.
all right, next.
You guys can go.
I would, honestly, I would reach out to another person for a second opinion.
Yes.
Like,
Bebo.
pardon?
No, a person, she
MySpace.
said. Not Beepo.
Yeah.
ChatGPT.
Like someone that someone whose opinion I value and I trust their judgment and who has I guess seen me in my highs and lows and seen my experiences, I would go to that person. Yeah.
Very nice. Marisse.
I think, same. Like what you guys said as well. Like, I think getting other people's point of views will help you see the different kind of decisions you can make. But in the end, it's up to you to decide what you feel is right. So knowing yourself, I think, is really important, and knowing what matters most to you and what you think is right, so that you can be firm in your choices and not be influenced by external things as much.
That's really important. Yeah. Yeah.
I think leading off of that, like if you don't know yourself, like you're not entirely sure what you would do in this moral situation, I think you should focus on, like asking a bunch of different people that you do trust, and then seeing the consequences if you do X, Y, or Z.
Yeah.
And then kind of follow the path that you feel like is the best one for you.
Yeah.
And hopefully that means hurting no people, like the path that hurts
Minimal.
the least people.
Minimal casualties.
And then work towards an ending, and then you can reassess afterwards how you felt.
from that decision.
Yeah, from making
Yeah.
those decisions that led up to that.
Yeah. And then you can take that with you for the next
Yeah.
Yeah, the next decision.
decision. Yeah.
Yeah, like if it, like Goldilocks, if it feels wrong, then like maybe don't do that in the future. If it feels right, then like keep going.
Also, don't break into people's houses and sleep on their beds.
That's a good start.
Yeah, can steal other people's food.
Start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for listening. That was Casual Corner Chat. Hope you
Super
guys.
cash.
But yeah, hope you guys join us on next time.
Thanks
Bye.
so much. Bye.
Hey guys, if you liked the episode, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button.
You can listen to us weekly on Spotify or watch us on YouTube.
If you're interested in more content, check out our Instagram and TikTok.
Comment on any of our platforms if you have a question or a topic that you want us to cover.
See you guys next time.
Bye.